Hi everybody and welcome again to Psychology Brothers, where we talk about so many a pointless thing but
with a great, beautiful point.
And our beautiful point today is breathing.
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 I can do that without thinking about it, you know.
Prove it.
Keep watching.
Go on. You thinking about it now?
No.
Prove you can do it without thinking about it.
I was thinking about Formula One.
Prove you can do it without thinking
Look,
about
keep
it.
watching. See?
Are you thinking about it?
No, I wasn't.
Prove it. That's my argument. You can't prove it. You can't prove that you're not thinking about it.
Don't make me buy one of them machines again.
Machines? Thanks tonight. Okay, so breathing. Let's do some deep breathing meditation together.
What's breathing gonna do, mate?
Come on, tell me.
What's breathing gonna do, though?
Tell me what you think it's going to do.
I don't know. Just
Nothing
get me out of breath. Get me out of breath.
That's good. Let you be that audience out there that will be asking that question. I'll tell you what breathing's going to do for you. First of all, it's going to shut you up. That's the first thing it's going to do for you. And anytime you can be quiet is a good thing, because the more quiet you are, the more you're listening. The more you're listening, the more you're going to learn about yourself. Difficult for our egos to take, but it's the truth. Lesson number 1 of breathing. Have you learnt something from that lesson?
No.
That's good. Second lesson of breathing is what happens when we breathe deeply. We activate something called our parasympathetic nervous system. And that parasympathetic nervous system aids relaxation. And it also aids our body to go into a state of equilibrium.
When have I got time to breathe, though? Not being funny, mate, but...
You're sitting here, ain't you? You've got time to breathe right now. You can think of all the excuses in the world as to the reason why you can't breathe, but you're at home now watching this video. You could be breathing. You're sitting right there. You could be breathing. Couldn't you? That's true. Rule number 2. Don't listen to your own bullshit. Rule number 3 of breathing, after I was talking nicely about the parasympathetic nervous system, is what happens when we activate this parasympathetic nervous system and we breathe deeply is we become more relaxed. And as we become more relaxed, our conscious critical mind that evaluates all information and judges and gets in the way of our own self-discovery begins to ease off and go into a state of sleep, so to speak.
Yeah, but I can just have a good drink of alcohol and a fag, can't I,
You could,
to
but
make
it's
that
not
ease
going to
off.
get you anywhere, because it's going to keep you stuck. The pain that you're running from through alcohol and addiction is never going to go, only in those brief moments that you are stoned or drunk off your face.
You're right, I'm sorry.
It's okay, I'll accept your apology. So, what it's going to do is it will start to ease off the conscious critical part of your mind, and it will start to bring up the very things that you've been running from all your life. The things that make you feel afraid, vulnerable, rejected, anxious.
We don't have to think about that, though, do we?
No, you just have to feel it. If you can just ease off that conscious critical mind with deep, relaxing breathing, you're allowing yourself, A, to listen to those parts of you that emotionally come up through that meditative state. B, become aware of where your uncomfortable feelings may be coming from. And ultimately become more comfortable in the uncomfortable feelings that you have. And the more comfortable you become in the uncomfortable feelings, the less likely you're going to be reaching out to the external world of alcohol, drugs, gambling, television, to temporarily cure that uncomfortable feeling or disease you have within
You don't
yourself.
need those great things in life. You don't need all those great things that he just mentioned.
No, you don't. We grew up in a culture where at the time they're the only things that we've ever learnt that's taken away those feelings. But let's imagine that we grew up in a culture where when you was at the age of 6 and Nanny died, and it felt terrible for you and you felt afraid, alone, you went to Mummy and Daddy, and Mummy and Daddy sat down with you, and they talked to you about your feelings and told you, even though it's terrible the way you're feeling, it's okay to feel the way you feel, and they blessed you with love and support unconditionally, you would eventually have moved through facing that pain and being accepted for it. You would have moved naturally through it. But what happened was, when Nanny died, is that Mummy and Dada, their own fears of dealing with their own loss, when they saw that in you, they would do everything to try and repair those feelings within you by, it's okay, darling, let me take you out to the shops, let me buy you a nice present.
Oh, horrible.
Let me go and do something to teach you unconsciously that when you have uncomfortable feelings, you need to find something to fill that void, to fix that feeling. And sadly, that's the only way we've ever been unconsciously conditioned to deal with the way we feel.
So you're saying we could breathe instead?
Breathe. Breathe. Nurture yourself, love yourself through the pain. Face the pain. It's uncomfortable, it's frightening, it's scary. The longer that you're in there, the easier it becomes. The longer that you're in there, the more you'll develop a voice inside that pain that tells you you're beautiful.
I suppose you can kind of picture being underwater, and when you come out for that breath of air, it's really good, isn't it? And I suppose when anxiety kicks in, you kind of feel like drowning.
Yeah.
So breathing makes sense because you kind of come up for air. So how would you breathe differently?
Well, there's a type of breathing out there called holotropic breathing, which basically is you taking in a lot more breath deep into the pit of your stomach and forcing that breath back out. And you do 25 of those in cycle. You have 1 minute break and then repeat the cycle. And eventually, it's quite difficult to do at first, it takes practice. Eventually, it dissolves and bypasses that conscious part of your mind that's been there to protect you all these years, i.e. for ego defences. But those ego defences protect you like the can of beer does for 5 minutes, gives you that quick fix that it's okay. But deep down, underneath all that conscious critical mind, underneath all that ego, is pain that needs to be accepted, owned and addressed and loved within you.
Could you do it when you was driving? Would you advise it?
Definitely not, no.
What about in a bath?
Definitely not in a bath.
Roller coaster?
Definitely not on a roller coaster. The best thing you can do it with is somebody ultimately you really trust, love, admire, someone that can just sit with you and allow you to feel the way you feel in that moment, allow you to cry or scream with anger. However the way you feel in that moment, somebody that can just sit there, support you through that process. Guess what? Sounds like madness, doesn't it? It sounds like madness because we all grew up in a culture that laughs and mocks and judges real, genuine help and support like that.
Well, people have a bad thing about meditating and sort of that spirits.
Well, well, you told me that you meditated a lot. You said you meditated in the toilet at work. You meditate to Babe Station, and you meditated a lot growing up when your mum was out the house. You'd like your bedroom door.
Always meditating.
Meditated all the time. He says, in fact, most of the time you meditated that much you'd run out of tissue. So meditation's good. Meditate. That's our motto for you. So
you need a lot of lubrication though, don't you? Because blisters.
You get blisters from meditating, yeah. Meditating. Anyway, take care everybody. Psychology Brothers out.